YouTubers, Mike Martin's here with the Mike Martin Channel. Thanks for joining me and being part of the channel. So, guys, I have a article and a half, a tale of two articles that I want to join together, and I want to discuss with you guys: is gold evil? Well, let's look at the point of views from 100 years ago. Yeah, 100 years ago, the turn of the century of the 20th century. Let's look at what they had to say, and it kind of falls into place. A tale of two articles with two cities and a dream. Could Muscle Shoals have been a hub rivaling Detroit? Henry Ford thought so. So here it is, guys. Muscle Shoals, Alabama, in 1921. Henry Ford dreamed a dream that he could turn a sleepy Alabama town into a southern Mecca. That's a dream and a half right there, turning into a sleepy... wow, let's go. His plan included buying the unfinished Wilson Dam and two nitrate plants, which at the time the U.S. government was willing to sell to a private company. Now, back after World War I, the American government was defederalizing the country and selling to the private sector, which is really good. Now we have the complete 180 opposite, where the governments are buying up everything and refederalizing everything and making a mess of everything, like ruining everything for everybody. And that was a good thing back in the day the states did. To produce nitrate fertilizers, sparking the idea Ford would do for northern Alabama what he did for Detroit with automaking. He announced a plan to build a city that would encompass 75 miles of North Alabama. So there it is. Eventually, Ford's dream died, but it would be resurrected by Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1933. He created the Tennessee Valley Authority as part of the New Deal to operate the Wilson Dam and other power-producing facilities in 7 states. So there it is. So there was a big thing, people following Ford down, and they had articles written, The Rush for Muscle Shoals. There's the article right there. And Rush for Muscle Shoals, Ford's proposed 75-mile city, already attracting thousands. So people were going down there. You got to buy stuff for New York Times, and if you don't follow or believe what they say on New York Times, they could put you on a list, by the way. There's an article out there for that. So what do I want to talk about? Well, this article from 1921. It looks like it's the New York Times, and I got it here in real time, real clipping. Ford would replace gold with energy currency and stop wars. So they want to replace gold with energy currency and stop the wars. Remember, in 1921, the U.S. Federal Reserve note, or the U.S. note, basically was backed by gold. Gold was backing it until 1971. Ironically, 50 years after this is written, by Richard Milhous Nixon, who removed the gold standard because it would be too expensive to go to war with a gold-backed currency. Henry Ford kind of knew that, but he wanted to stop all the wars. Could it be why this deal didn't go through, or why the deal fizzled? He declares, if government will give him Muscle Shoals plant, he can demonstrate success of a plan to substitute natural wealth as basis of world's money. I could barely see this, guys, because it is blurry. The article itself is blurry. I'm trying to read it through the phone. So, declares if government will give a Muscle Shoals plant, he can demonstrate success of a plan to substitute natural wealth as basis of a world's money. So there it is. Now, this goes into the first article we read, but I want to go to here. This is the meat and potatoes. Bankers who today, I like how they rate today like that, today control the bulk of the world's global supply. No matter to what country they as individuals claim allegiance, they all play the same game to keep the gold they have in their own hands and get just as much more as possible. Now, it's gold. Yeah, gold's a major asset, especially back in 1921. And this is before they confiscated gold, too. So this is a very interesting... Was it before? Yeah, it was 1921, so it was before. So this is a very interesting little tidbit of information here, where now you have cryptocurrency. Now, cryptocurrency could play as the new gold in a cyber world that we live in today. But it is basically eliminating the middleman and screwing over a lot of the banking and institutions that they've had to start playing the game with the cryptocurrency and buying more cryptocurrency. So it's kind of interesting how it's kind of panning out, right? With the international bankers, the fostering, starting, I can barely see this, it's so blurry. Starting and fighting of a war is nothing more less than creating an active market for money business transaction. If the different countries of the international groups are at war, that makes no difference. No matter who loses the war, there have been a great many loans. The gold system always wins. The young men from 18 to 30 fight the war and are maimed or killed. The internationalists, they're called internationalists, are safe and prosperous. Internationalists. 10 years ago, so this is going back, so he's talking about 1911, so this is 1921, 1911. 10 years ago, he quotes, I said I intended to put every ounce of brains and energy in me to stopping the war. I never meant anything more earnestly, and that's why I have Muscle Shoals. I see a way of which, if it can be done, will do more to end the war than 1,000 years of agitation. Then he goes on in quotations to say, the essential evil of gold in its relation to war is the fact that it can be controlled. Break the control and you stop the war, and the simple way to break the control of these international bankers, the way to the end of the exploitation of humanity forever, is to remove gold as a basis for the currency of the world. Army engineers say that it will take 30 million to complete the big dam, but Congress is economical just now and not in the mood to raise the money. So I guess what happened was they found out that he wanted to stop wars, he wanted to better humanity, and I think Congress started to back out on this. So I wanted to show this to you guys, the points of views that people had back in the day. So he's going back to 100 plus years ago, talking about the specifics of gold, and he goes into, he reiterates it here, the essential evil of gold in its relation to war is the fact that it can be controlled. Right? Then he goes on and calls them internationalists. Today we call them globalists. The internationalists are safe and prosperous. So those are the elites. So this is a very important article I wanted to share with you guys. Very important. It's very hard to read it through the phone. It's very hard to read it through the screen. It is very blurry. I know when you look at it through the phone, it looks nice and crisp, but I'm not seeing it like that. And I like how they write today. I like how language has changed over the last 100 years. I just want to know what you guys think about this. That's what we have today. We replaced the gold standard with an energy gold-backed currency by the United States. And that's what you call the petrodollar. And it's very interesting how things 100 years ago and how they were fighting basically over gold, or the control of gold. And it's kind of nice how Henry Ford would call out the international bankers and the internationalists and the evil of war in this article. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I want to know what you guys think, what you guys feel about this. Because 100 years ago, I think there's going to be a lot of changes because we are digitally book burning. And what I mean by that is we're not book burning as in burning books in the middle of the street anymore like they did in Berlin in 1931, 32, and 33. We are actually doing it more in a digitized way where they're just deleting past events, deleting articles, deleting 100 years from now, and I stand to my words. 100 years from today, they will say that they're going to rephrase what happened with the towers and say that Buddy had weapons of mass destruction in his country, and they're going to rephrase it. And 100 years from now, nobody will be alive to argue any of the points of views because they're going to say that America freed the world by finding weapons of mass destruction, which they didn't, and basically And that's what's going to happen 100 years from now. All these people that started these wars and basically destroyed a good portion of the Middle East will be looked upon as heroes 100 years from now, because none of us will be alive to tell what really happened. And also, a lot of the digitized stuff will be reformulated and redoctrined and rewritten to protect, I guess, future generations to think that they're living in a hero, we won the war society. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I look forward to reading your comments. Thank you so much.